Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyan Manjari Vidyapit for the students of Standard 9 in which we are learning the subject of English. Students, today we are going to start a new chapter from the supplementary reader, that is Moments, chapter number 10. Chapter number 10 in Moments is, the name of the chapter is The Beggar. It has been written by a very famous and a very popular uh, novelist, playwright of Russia, that is Anton Chekhov. Anton Chekhov is a reputed, highly praised, and quite popular among the one of the best Russian playwrights or person who writes drama, etc. Anton Chekhov usually writes about the contemporary Russian customs, tradition, or the situations prevailing in the society, the mentality of the people. He has written lots of short stories which have quite a positive outcome but brightly shows the tendency of the people, the thinking of the Russian people of that particular time. So, Anton Chekhov has written this very beautiful short story that is called The Beggar. Now, let us learn this story. Kind sir, have pity, turn your attention to a poor hungry man. For 3 days I have had nothing to eat. I won't am not having 5 kopecks for a lodging. I swear it before God. So, right at the starting of the chapter, we have, as the name suggests, the beggar. We have a beggar begging for alms. Begging for alms means begging for money. Yes, because he doesn't have uh, any money to buy food for him. And of course, when he doesn't have money to buy food for him, positively, he's not going to have any uh, permanent place of residence. Might be he might be living on in the open, and somewhere in the dark streets, or somewhere in the open. Right? He doesn't have a place to live. He doesn't have money to buy food. He's literally not having anything, so he's begging. So he is drawing attention of the people who are passing, or maybe sometimes he even comes up to many of the residences, and at the gates he asks the very rich person to give him, because from rich person usually beggars expect that they would give money in charity, but more than what common people give. What common people give, because the beggar is nagging, he would take out a coin from his pocket, 1 rupee, 2 rupee coin. Same way in other currencies also, they have the coins of lower denomination. So, when giving it to a beggar, a common person would usually give the smallest denomination available with him, right? So, because he knows lots of beggars keep on asking for money, so he would give few coins to few of the beggars here and there. But with a rich person, usually it won't be coins that would be with him, so it would usually be a paper currency and he might get more. So he's trying to draw attention. Kind sir, that means he's addressing the person as sir, and kind sir, that means, yeah, he's begging. So, have pity, have mercy. Pity means mercy. Turn your attention to a poor, hungry man. So, at the same time, he addresses and he tells the person about his state also. He's not only poor, but he is also hungry. And please draw your attention towards me. I am a poor man, okay, but then I am also a hungry man. I haven't 5 kopecks. Kopecks is the same way that we have pesa, rupees, pesa. So they have rubles and kopecks. Ruble is the higher denomination currency note. Kopecks, coins. 5 kopecks. Yes, we can say 5 paisa, 5 cent, same way 5 kopecks for a lodging. Yes, so he doesn't even have that 5 kopecks, which is required for living a night, because talking about Russia, it's quite cold over there, and you cannot stay out in the open. You need a shelter, and to live in a shelter, at least say some barn or somewhere where the animals are tied, even if you want to live over there, because it will keep you out from that freezing cold which is outside, the cold winds which are blowing with this ice and snow and everything. It becomes very difficult to uh, stay out in the open. So he must have at least 5 kopecks so that he can find some shelter, but he doesn't have that money. So I swear it before God. That means I can take the oath. Swear means oath, but here means I take the name of God. Yes, I keep God in front of me. I can swear by his name. Yes, I can promise you that not have money. Yes, you got to trust me. I don't have money in my pocket. I can swear it for. Lodging means a place to live. Yes, boarding, lodging, we say. Yeah. For 8 years, I was a village school teacher, and then I lost my place through intrigues. Now, he says, my condition is not permanent, it is temporary. Yes, and it has been created all of a sudden. For 8 years, I had been teaching in a school as a school teacher, and I lost my place through intrigues. Intrigues means because of some politics or because of some unexplained circumstances, somebody else was chosen in his place because of the politics or whatever you can say, right? Affluent person, a very far-reaching person, right? He got the job, and this poor man was kicked out of the job. Now he is not having a job. If he is not having a job, he is not having a monthly salary with him, and he has no money. I fell victim to calumny. I fell victim to calumny. Calumny means false accusation or some misrepresentation of the situation. Yes, for example, you had been studying for at least 2 hours straight. Yes, nobody was at home, nobody was there to tell you to read, or you just reading on your own. Yes, and after 2 hours of constant reading, you wanted to be a little bit fresh, and you just came out of your house and you are standing over there. Nobody was at home. All of a sudden, your mother appears from over there. She has come back from the market, and your neighbor says he has been wasting time for the last 2 hours. Right now, it is a misrepresentation of the fact. The fact is, you just been here 2 minutes. For the last 2 hours, you had been studying without anybody telling you. Even your mother didn't say, when I'm away 2 hours, you just keep on studying. You just were studying on your own. Yes, you didn't need anybody to. But now, your neighbors or your neighbor's son, he tells your mother that yeah, he has been wasting time. Mother will believe. Mother has complete faith on you, but then the representation is wrong. You were just out 2 minutes, but you were counted as 2 hours basically spanning over there, right? So that is called calumny. Somebody complained about me, or the situation I was blamed, and then I was accused and I was thrown out of the job. That is the meaning of calumny. I was a victim. Yes, I became a prey to calumny. It's a year now since I have had anything to do. Right? I was for 8 years. I was a school teacher, but something messed up. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and somebody blamed me wrongly, and I am out of the job. Somebody pushed me out of the job, and since last 1 year, I do not have any job. I am a jobless person. Because I am jobless, for 1 year I have been, whatever savings I had, I used up my savings. Then I don't even have savings. Now I don't have work, I don't have a job, I don't have money, so I'm begging. The advocate, now to whom the beggar was addressing, he was an advocate. Advocate जो वकील होते हैं, right, lawyer होते हैं, right, that. So the advocate Sergey looked at the ragged fawn colored overcoat of the suppliant, at his dull drunken eyes, at the red spot on either cheek. Now we should remember that this is Russia we are talking about. It's quite cold, almost whole of the time of the year, barring 1 or 2 months where it would be a little bit warmer than the otherwise winters quite harsh. Yes, 6, 7, 8 months, complete snow, ice, everything. So the advocate, the name is Sergey. He was looking at the suppliant, at the ragged, battered dress, torn dress, stitched. Yes, so that way it was a ragged person, not in good clothing. Fawn colored overcoat of the suppliant. Yes, suppliant is the person who is petitioning, or right now here he is begging. So he looked at the beggar. Now it's Russia, so people, even a beggar, he is going to be heavily dressed in, tried all the woolen clothes that he finds. People give the poor people lots of clothes so that they can keep warm at least, because they don't have a house, and on top of that they don't have enough money for food, clothing, shelter, etc. So even because it's a very cold country, so the climate is always cold, so people need. So the beggar, he was wearing a fawn colored overcoat, and he was a suppliant. That means he was the beggar begging. And now Sergey, the advocate, was looking at his whole of the attire, what he was wearing, and then he looked at the face. Face was dull. The face was dull because he might not have had food for 2 3 days. Then eyes were drunken. Yes, he was wandering here and there in the cold, not eaten. So the eyes are laden with lots of tension, plus the uh, hunger. Yes, it creates lots of uh, different type of face that other person sees. So drunken eyes at and the red spot on either cheek, and it seemed to him as if he had seen this man somewhere before. Lots of people have uh, a face that you reckon that you might have seen this person first. So by looking at the face, you think, I have seen this person. So it's the same feeling Sergey, the advocate, had when he saw the beggar. He looked at him, he looked at the face, eyes. He thought he might have seen that person somewhere. He's not able to place exactly which, where and when, but then it looks as if he might be knowing him. I have now had an offer of position in the province of Kaluga, the mendicant went on, but I haven't the money to get there. Help me kindly. So, he was a teacher, okay, temporarily out of job since last 1 year, but now I have got an offer to work at in the province of Kaluga. Province, the whole of the Russia is divided into lots of districts, and these districts are quite long, big, huge. So because we know Russia is quite a big country, so these districts are then shortly divided into provinces, what we say, talukas, etc. So I have been asked to work, got an offer to go and work in the province of Kaluga, the Mandikant. Mendicant is the person who practices beggary or one who begs. So it's the same meaning. Yes, you can say beggar, you can say mendicant. So mendicant, that is the beggar, he says, now I have an offer that, because he was working as a school teacher, right? So now, as is, he has been thrown out of the job, but then he had worked as a school teacher, he has that experience. Okay, whatever the situation is, whatever reason he was thrown out of the school, but now another offer is there. Now he has to go to a province called Kaluga, and he has to work over there. But then to reach there you need money, because you have to take a train or you have to take some other transport and reach over there, you need money. So but I haven't the money to get there. Help me kindly. So the person is saying, I have to reach another province, but then please understand my situation. I don't have anything. I don't have any money with me. If you can help me to, if you can help me with some money, then I can buy tickets and I can go to the province of Kaluga. And when I start working, yes, I'll have money with me. So then there it wouldn't be a problem. I am ashamed to ask, but I am obliged to my circumstances. First thing is, I am a well educated person, because a school teacher is usually a very good educated person. Next thing, he is still young, he is not old. Yes, he isn't retired, he was continuous in his job and he was thrown out. So, first thing is, he is quite a smart person, he is quite a good educated person, plus he has the experience of working in a school for 8 years. But right now, the situations are quite off balance, right? The situations aren't good. The way he is, he looks like a beggar, he's dressed like a beggar, and he's begging. So anybody is going to look at his face and is going to look at you, yes, a strong, healthy person, looks educated by the way he speaks, quite well mannered, right? So in that way, whoever, whomsoever he begs money or he tells about his circumstances, he's going to look at him with suspicion that this person looks quite good, he's healthy also, why is he begging? You can always do work. Yes, only to the most helpless person, that is some of the blind people who just very old people, quite handicapped, not physically totally fit to do any work, right? They want to do work, but then nobody gives them work. Okay, to those people, if we uh, give some money when they beg, that's okay. But uh, young people who are quite healthy, they can do something on their own. If they're not educated, then they can work manually. They can do some errands, yes, for the shopkeepers, etc., to take the goods from here and there, to for example, home delivery. Yes, they can take the goods and do the home delivery nearby homes, and that way they can earn money. So if you are healthy, if you are young, those people, if they beg, it looks quite awkward. We also don't feel like giving any or offering some help to them, right? So same way, this person realizes that he must not be begging, so he excuses himself. He says, I'm very ashamed, right? I should not be begging. Yes, am an educated person, I am quite qualified. Yes, I am quite young, quite strong, quite healthy. Yes, and I'm very ashamed to ask or to beg from you. But right now, my circumstances are such that nobody is going to believe me. Nobody is going to lend me so much money that I can, because to beggars we just give some small amount change, at actually coins, right? More than that we don't give. Yes, somebody some beggar comes to us and asks, sir, please give me 1,000 rupees. Yes, I want to go to Madras, I want to go to Kolkata. You're not going to give him, right? You know, well, instantly you know that he's just trying to fool us. So the same way, the beggar, he knows he's in quite an awkward situation. Looking at him, nobody's going to give him any help, or nobody's even going to offer him help, right? So he says, I'm ashamed to ask, but then I'm obliged. Yes, i I am in this condition, and that is why I am asking you for money. I'm begging, literally. Sergei's eye fell on the man's overshoes, one of which was high and the other was low, and he suddenly remembered something. Now, Sergei's eye, he fell on the person's overshoes. Now, Sergey, the advocate, he was, because somebody came and was begging in front of him, asking money, trying to explain his situation, right? So Sergey was looking at that man from top to bottom, how he was dressed, how his face was looking, and he thought he saw the face somewhere, so he's trying to place it, he's trying to remember where he had seen that person, and he's looking at that person from top to bottom, and when his eyes fell on the overshoes. Now, what are overshoes? Because overshoes, just I can say that rubber boots that we wear during rainy season. Yes, we usually wear our canvas shoes, which stick quite close to your feet, and on top of that, you wear uh, the shoes that are meant for rainy season. Yes, that is the rubber boots that we wear. Yes, usually they cover a whole of the feet. Not only that, they come up to the ankle, to the not only to the ankle level but the knee level, right? So even if there is water flooding in the streets, you can walk perfectly well, because now water will not be able to get inside, because the water is still well below the knee level, and so that are the water boot, or the can say the rubber boots that we are wearing. Same way, snow, when it is snowshoes, right? So snowshoes, they can be quite huge because they need lots of footing, and you can wear snowshoes on top of the shoes that you are, so that are they are called overshoes, the shoes which you wear for some specific purpose, that is going through mud or going through water, or when you're walking on snow, etc. So overshoes. And when he saw some type of difference between the left shoe and the right shoe, which one of which was high and the other was low. One overshoe was high, other one was low, and suddenly, because whenever we see such type of difference or odd things, then we particularly we can remember that, memorize that, right? So, and he suddenly remembered something. Look here, it seems to me I met you day before yesterday in Sodovia Street. Now he understood. Yes, when you look at odd things, your mind automatically remembers that, right? For example, uh, in the street, all the uh, shops, their shutters, when they are closed, they are painted green. All the shops on both the sides, usually they are green. One of the shop is having the shed color as, or the cover as red, the shutter cover as red. So when all the shops are closed in the night, you particularly remember that the fifth from that last or the fourth from here is red. Yes, that oddity is going to make you remember things. So we all wear shoes, but one shoe is not bigger than the other shoe. Same way, when we are wearing overshoe, one shoe is not bigger than the other. Both of them should be of the same height. Yes, so he remembered that he had seen this person because he had looked at the shoe, and it was quite strange that one shoe was higher and the other was lower. Then Sergey, that is the advocate, he remembered when, and he told that person, look, I now remember where I saw you last. I met you day before yesterday, just the day before yesterday in Sodovia Street. I saw you. He said, but you told me then that you were a student who had been expelled. I remember you properly because I had looked at your shoe and you are wearing that same overshoe. At that time also I saw you. One of the shoe is higher, one of the shoe is lower. You met me on the Sodovia Street, and there you were begging for money. You came to me and you told me that you were a student and you were expelled from the college. Expelled, kicked out from the college, thrown out of the college. Now, in these countries, usually when you are a student, yes, of the college gives you stipend for the regular expenses that you have, either you work and pay up the expenses, etc. Now, when you are thrown out, you don't have money. Might be you did not pay the fees, so they threw you out. You who had been expelled and not a village school teacher. Do you remember? Now, day before yesterday also you were begging, but with a different excuse. Today also you are begging with a different excuse. On that day, when you are on the Sodovia Street, you told me that you were a student who has been thrown out of the college, so you didn't have money. Today, you say you are a school teacher. So either you are a school teacher or you are a student. Now that day, these positions can't change. Either he is a student at the college, thrown out, or you are a school teacher who is thrown out after working for a lot many years. You cannot be both at the same time, right? So that day you gave another excuse. No, that can't be so, mumbled the beggar, taken aback. Now the beggar realized that he is with the wrong person. The person to whom he is begging, he has already begged 1 or 2 days earlier. Now he doesn't remember the person in front of whom he is begging, and he had begged with a different excuse. So this is his everyday spoil, his everyday effort in order to extract money from others, in order to get maximum alms from other people. He uses various tricks, various methods, various ploys, various excuses, so that every different day he is begging with a different excuse, and people have mercy on him and give him money. He doesn't want to work, or perhaps whatever the reason is, we don't know yet, right? But every day he begs in front of people for money, for alms, anything, with different reasons. Now you cannot ask him. Now he is caught. Day before yesterday on the Sodovia Street, he was begging in front of the same person. At that time the excuse was, I am a student and I have been thrown out of the college. Today he is standing in front of that same person, but he forgot. The beggar forgot that I have already asked from this man money with some different excuse. So now he is caught, and he mumbles. Yes, now he cannot stand over there, but then he is trapped, right? So No, no, that can't be so, mumbled the beggar, taken aback. I'm a village school teacher, and if you like, I can show you my papers. Papers, identification, must for each and every Russian. Yes, these are the countries where you carry proper IDs on you. Yes, without which there will be lots of problem. Yes, you'll fall into lots of problems, and if you don't have proper identification, the police might even throw you into the jail or police station until they confirm your identity. Yes, so because these are quite aware countries, police is aware, and security of the state, it is of utmost uh, importance. So you got to carry your papers. Papers means identification, right? So he says, no, no, that can't be. I was not on that street day before yesterday, posing as a student who was thrown out of the college, and he didn't have money and he was begging for money. I cannot be that, because I was a school teacher, and I am a village school teacher. He was at one time, right now thrown out. And if you like, I can show you my papers if you want proof whether I am a school teacher or not. Right? I got papers on me. I can show you. Have done with lying. You called yourself a student and even told me what you had. Now, because it's just fresh in memory. It is just one day prior. Yesterday, one day prior. Right? So it was just like yesterday or just day before yesterday. Somebody comes to you and tells you whole of the story. It's just not possible that you forget the whole of the story within 124 hours or 48 hours. You're going to remember person, you are going to remember the face. You meet with lots of people, it becomes difficult for you to place, where I have seen this person. But once you recognize that person, then you know the complete story. Yes, all the dialogues that you had, somebody says you spoke this, you know definitely, no, there was no subject like this. I know I didn't speak this. Yes, I have not spoken this. Right? So, Sergey, the advocate, is very, very sure that this was the same person who was begging on the street day before yesterday, and he had a different excuse. At that time, he told me that he was a student and he was thrown out of the college and he didn't have money. Today you say that I am a school teacher and I got paper to show, I have got proper identification which proves me that I am a teacher, right? So Sergey really gets angry. Have done with lying. That means I have done with lying. I am finished with lying. You called yourself a student. Now I very well remember it was you, and you yourself told that you were a student and told me what you had been expelled for. You also told me why you were expelled or thrown out of the college. Now I know the reason that you had given me that day. Do you remember the reason that you have? Because now for the beggar, he has been giving different excuses, and according to situation, a person might ask some question, he has to answer, but then he doesn't remember. As soon as he gets money, whole of the matter is over. He doesn't have to remember the excuse that he had given. He doesn't have to remember the statement that he had given. He doesn't have to remember the answer that he has given. Right? As soon as he got the money, it's finished. Right? The matter is over. Now, you don't know, you would be asking or you would be begging in front of that same person again after 2 days, 3 days. You won't remember that. So I remember, advocate says, I remember. The lawyer Sergey said, I remember the proper excuse that you gave me why your college turned you out of its gates. Why the college threw you out of the gate. Now, do you remember? That's going to be quite tough because you gave lots of excuses to lots of people while you were begging. So you won't remember what excuse you gave me. Sergey flushed and turned away from ragged creature with an expression of disgust. Disgust? He's totally ashamed, right? So whole of the expression on the face changed. The expression on the face changed because the beggar simply forgot what excuse he had given at that time, why he was thrown out of the college. But the lawyer, it doesn't happen with that lawyer each and every day that a student comes to him begging for money and says, for this reason I was thrown out of the college and I don't have money, please give me money. The thing doesn't happen again and again with a lawyer. Yes, for you, every day you go out, but every time the same beggar doesn't come to you for begging, right? So these things do not happen. So Sergey, he remembers quite definitely that this was the beggar and the reason that he had given me. Now Sergey flushed and turned from ragged creature with an expression of disgust. Sergei, he was totally, can say, in a very angry mood, and he was filled with disgust that these people, they keep on begging with different excuses. Sometimes say, uh, quite, I'm a, I was a student thrown out of the college. Next time he says that I'm a teacher, I was thrown out of my job. Yes, so he's disgusted with the lies that these people say in order to ask for money. So Serg is flushed. Flushed means his face is showing the colors of the blood. So that's red. That means he turned red and turned from the ragged creature with an expression of disgust. So he turned away from that person. He's not going to argue with him. Yes, because it's totally very shameful of such healthy, strong, healthy looking people. Just by extending your arm, you're extending your hand, somebody put some coins on your hand, and that's done for you. Yes, easily you earn money, right? You don't want to earn money by working hard, doing something. So he's disgusted by the way these young people behave today. So now the beggar, he says, "This is dishonesty, my dear sir," he said angrily. He cried angrily, "This is swindling. I shall send." Okay, so Mr. Sergey, he is flushed. His face is showing anger. It's red in color because they are white people. So automatically, that red color shows on the face when a person is angry. So the whole of the color of the face changes. So he's flushed by the disgust, the wrong things he's seeing in front of him. Yes, and he turns away from that ragged, not properly dressed person in taunts, right? And with an expression of disgust, he's not believing what he's seeing, and he turns away from there. But before going away, he says, "This is dishonesty, my dear sir." Because sir, a respectful person, right? Human being, each other, gentlemanly. Even when we meet on roads, it's very quite manners. Yes, it's decency that we have. Even a beggar is called a sir, right? So this is dishonesty, my dear fellow, my dear sir. Yes, what you are doing is totally wrong. The advocate, Sergey, he can't stop himself from expressing those words which come from the bottom of his heart, right? He says this is complete dishonesty. This is not called honesty. On one day, just because you don't want to work or whatever reasons I don't know, but you keep begging with different excuses. You are cheating people. You are lying. One day you are a student thrown out of the college. Another day you are a school teacher thrown out of from your job. Right? You just keep on lying. You don't have any good soul in you. Yes, you cheat people for begging. Yes, and you just speak lies in order to get some money. This is really, really very disgusting. I totally dislike this, and this is very disrespectful. So, my dear sir, cried he, this is swindling, this is deceit. Yes, to swindle is to cheat. This is just cheating, pure cheating. One day you are something else, another day you are something else. People will have mercy on what you are saying. Yes, from a top position you tumble down. From a student you are just thrown out. You are a school teacher thrown out. So people will have mercy on your story, which is a total lie. So this is dishonesty. The story must have some truth. If you're begging, there's no shame in it. You don't have money, right? So you can ask anybody for money. That's okay. Circumstances we don't know when we would be where, in which circumstances we never know these things. Yes, you went for a trip. All your documents are lost. All your uh, money is lost. All your clothing, all your baggage, whatever, everything is lost. You don't have a single penny in your pocket. Yes, you got to ask someone, please, sir, give me your phone. I'll dial my number. I'll try to get some help. Yes, you have to. Sometimes circumstances arise that you have to ask for help. Anybody will help you. It's not begging, right? But you are in some situation where you need help from others. People will believe your story and will help you. Here, each and every day, you have a different story. only solely for the purpose of getting money, cheating people and getting more money from there. So this is really, really very shameful. Yes, and I shall send the police for you, damn you. Yes, begging is not allowed in many of the countries. Yes, it's a total ban. Yeah, earlier times, the times were different when, okay, lots of poor people were there. But many of these countries, they have developed so much that uh, begging is considered a crime. And if someone cheats you in such a way, extracts money from you by telling a false story, lie, that is called cheating, that is called fraud, right? And certainly the person can hand you over to the police. So for cheating, yes, that day, we don't know yet. Sergey might have given money to this man believing his story. Now the same man is here with another story. The previous story was a fraud, and that beggar had committed a crime by giving a new story, trying to cheat the same person again. So, definitely, I'm going to hand you over to the police. So, now the beggar, sir, he said, laying his hand on his heart. Now, as soon as, as soon as these people hear the name of the police, they start shaking, and no, police everywhere, wherever you go in the world, police is going to be a little bit strict. Yes, and that is how people answer, right? People behave properly in front of police, and that is the reason, because they have their own ways to get answers from you, right? And the right answers. So as soon as the advocate, because he is an advocate, he is a lawyer, he is well aware of all the procedure of the law. So the first procedure of the law is to call the police. So he is very well, being a lawyer, he is very well aware of the procedures. So he just ask the beggar that I'm going to call the police, I'm going to hand you over to the police because you have been cheating. Sir, he said, now the man has softened a little bit. He's laying his hand on his own heart and trying to speak the truth. Whenever we place our right hand on the heart, it means that you are trying to speak the truth, whatever now follows. Right? So he says, the fact is I was lying. I accept. I accept my mistake, the beggar said. That also I lied. Today also I lied. I am not a student. I am not a school teacher. Both of them were lies. I was just trying to get some money from you. Yes, I'm lying. I am neither a student nor a school teacher. All that was fiction. Fiction, false. Yes, all that was fake. All that was made up. That was just a part of the imagination. Fiction is imagination, right? So, fiction. We have novels, etc., which are fiction. Fiction means not real. Not real means imagination, right? So all of that was the imagination of my mind. I came up with stories, different stories to beg money from people, right? And sometimes I was successful in getting money, and that is how. But what is my reality? Now he discloses. Formerly, I sang in a Russian choir and was sent away from drunkenness because of drunkenness, right? Formerly, I was with a Russian choir. Now, choir, it's a group usually some, especially the Christianity. Yes, it's usually a group singing with musical instrument for a religious purpose. That's called a choir, right? So, as I was previously I was with a Russian choir who used to sing religious places, for example, churches, or were called from one place to another because they had musical instruments with them, right? And church usually has lots of musical instruments. But I was thrown out of the choir. I was thrown out of the group because of my drunkenness. Yes, because of my habit of drinking. Yes, many times I did not appear for practice. Many times I did not appear on time when some function was there and I was required as a singer or as a musician. Yes, formerly I sang. That means he was in the group, he was singing. A group of singers is called a choir. So he was with the group. But then people missed him on time because of his drunkenness. He might be drinking and he might be falling asleep anywhere, somewhere, and he didn't reach on time, and that is how the group missed him. Now, because this happens on a daily basis, the choir people, they are fed up with him because of his drunkenness. They can't believe on him right? And so they kicked him out of the choir. So this is the state. I'm not a student, I'm not a teacher, but previously I used to sing, or I used to be part of the choir that sings at religious places, especially churches, etc. As and because I misbehaved when because of my drunkenness, my habit of drinking, always, yes, that led to the throwing me out of the choir, and that is why I don't I'm penniless. That means I don't have any. So we'll stop over here for the day. Thank you, students.